Hi. So I keep getting nudged to do more videos for you, the you who is watching this. So we're gonna do this. We're going to see what might be helpful for you today. So I'm just gonna check in and see, ask the question, what would be most helpful for me to talk about today for the people who will see this video, who will interact with this video, either, when I post it or in the far-flung future of YouTube, I guess, or the internet. And I shouldn't do that because then I shake everything and it gets wobbly. Okay, this is interesting. So the word that popped in was resentment. Fun. All right. So, what do we do about resentment? So, resentment, like all feelings, is an indication of something that's going on internally with you. Resentment doesn't mean that you're a bad person or that you're doing it wrong or that you're having unmanageable feelings that you will never be able to escape from. Resentment is simply pointing you toward a deeper truth. Resentment is pointing you toward a deeper truth. So, what might be some of the deeper truths below resentment? Sometimes if we see something in somebody else's life or online or something that we want essentially in our own life and maybe don't feel like we can have, don't feel like we can experience, we might feel some resentment toward that person or toward that experience. I'm not even sure what my example is here, but we might feel some resentment. Or if we are allowing a boundary to be crossed, or if someone asks us to do something that doesn't feel good to us and we say yes, even though it doesn't feel good to us. And maybe we say yes because we can't think of a good reason to say no, but then there's some resentment that starts to bubble up under that. So what to do with this is simply to notice the resentment and be like, okay, hey, resentment, thank you. You are pointing me toward something deeper. You are pointing me toward something that it would behoove me, that it would smooth out my life, make me happier if I looked at this thing that you are pointing me to. So what you can do when you notice resentment is simply ask yourself, ask your guides, ask God, ask your angels, ask the universe, ask your higher self, ask your wiser self, just ask you, whatever. All right, hey, resentment, what are you pointing me toward? What can I look at here? What would be, what's the useful message below this kind of uncomfortable, sticky feeling? And so, maybe it is something that you want that you don't think you can have. Then you simply ask yourself, well, is it absolutely true that I can't have this thing? No, of course not. If it's something you want, if it's something you desire, you already have everything you need within you to create that experience, to create the experience of that thing, that desire. What can be tricky is all of our underlying beliefs and old programming, old patterning, all the stuff hanging out in our brains and our emotions that say, no, you can't have that because, maybe we've seen that in somebody else's life, or we just don't think we're worthy of that, or whatever it is. Those thoughts and emotions are just asking to be observed by you, asking to be looked at, asking to be loved. Just loving those thoughts and those feelings can sometimes make them dissipate. And then suddenly that thing that we want feels closer, or we have an idea about how we can start to get it or start to move toward it. And if the resentment is around boundaries, is around, where we said yes when we would have rather said no, then we can, ask ourselves, is it really important that I say yes to this? Can I change my answer? Can I say no without giving an excuse? Can I hold a boundary for myself in a way that feels good? How can I do that? And then maybe some fear will bubble up around that you can then observe and ask, okay, is this fear real? Yes, no, maybe so. Generally, fears aren't real for the most part. The pro tip here is that if it doesn't feel good, it's not true, it's not real. And so our fears, unless it's an actual bus barreling toward you and you're afraid you're going to get hit because the bus is 2 feet away from you, dive out of the way. That fear is true. But when it's a fear around, not being loved or, dying in a gutter somewhere, that fear is not true. Um, unless you are actively dying in a gutter. But at that point, if you're dying in the gutter, you're probably not afraid of it anymore. You're probably just like, well, all right, this is happening. Let's get through it. So if you're afraid of it and it's not happening, then that fear is not true. So then you can ask yourself, your higher self, guidance, wisdom, whoever you ask when you ask these things, ask what is true. All right, what is true? Is it true that I can say no to this because I want to say no? Yes, you can always say no with an excuse or without an excuse. So is there any other, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else about resentment that would be helpful, because I guess I'm spending 5 minutes talking about resentment. Didn't think that was going to be happening today. Resentment. Anything else that people need to know about resentment? Anything else I can say that would be helpful? I'm getting a nope. You're done. I could probably wrap this up in a more, useful way, but I'm hoping that whatever I said has been useful in some way and will support you. Just know that feelings are all good, are all valid. Like, you can feel resentment without being a bad person. I think sometimes resentment is one of those shadow feelings that we can feel bad about having. Like, we should feel like, oh, I shouldn't be resentful. I shouldn't have resentment. Why not? You are a human. Resentment is simply, another arrow pointing you toward kind of the deeper gift that is within that sticky, uncomfortable feeling. And if it's there, you can find it. If you can find it, you can use it. And if you can use it, your life is going to get better. So hooray. All right. I hope that was helpful today. If so, please let me know, because, that will help me make more videos knowing that it's helpful for people. All right. Thanks. Bye.